The Londonpreneur Show with Michelle Carter.
Welcome to another episode of the Londonpreneur Show, where we interview a new entrepreneur every Monday and Friday. My guest today is the lovely Susan Brady from the Make Six Figures Working From Home coach. Welcome, Susan.
Thanks, Michelle. So happy to be here.
So what gets you up in the morning?
What gets me up in the morning? Well, probably my alarm clock, I'd have to say. I'm an early riser. I get up at 5:25 every morning, and I love to do a nice brisk walk around my village. I live in Port Stanley. So I am up out the door by 5:30 every morning doing a power walk.
Wow. So what do you think made you want to be an entrepreneur or a coach?
I was not a coach in the beginning. My start as an entrepreneur was in direct sales, and that happened totally by accident. It was not something that I set out to do, but it evolved over time, and I actually had a full-time job. I had a corporate job that I did for 6 months while I was building my direct sales business.
Wow.
And then after taking a year's leave of absence, I resigned from my government job and went into direct sales and become a full-time entrepreneur.
Wow. What was your first direct sales job?
That was with Mary Kay Cosmetics.
Mary Kay.
Yeah, it was my first and only. I only did one direct sales company.
And when did you switch from the direct sales to coach?
I never really switched to coaching right in the beginning. Actually, I had a little bit of a wonderful opportunity to work with Bob Proctor. So I was very successful in direct sales, and that's where I got my start in personal development. So I did a lot of studying and a lot of learning. And after the movie The Secret came out, I went to a conference downtown Toronto at the Sheraton where there was 5 of the speakers from the movie The Secret.
Okay.
And Bob Proctor was the last speaker of the day. And I was so fascinated with him that I decided to take one of his programs. And it was a home study program. But I decided that day, sitting in that conference room, that I had set a new goal for myself, that I was going to share the stage with Bob Proctor. And I went on to become vice president of one of his largest companies. So I did that for a couple years. And then 4 years ago, about 4.5 years ago, I went out on my own. And that's when Susan Brady International was created. So that's when I became a coach.
Wow, it's an amazing story.
Yeah.
So what can you tell me what kind of struggles did you experience in the early years?
Probably the biggest one, Michelle, was getting out of my own way.
What do you mean by that?
And I find a lot of women do the same thing. We are always so worried about what everybody else thinks, and what if they say no, and what are they going to think about me. But when you have a goal that's bigger than you are, that you are totally focused on, it doesn't matter anymore. You don't care what people say. And I remember one of the things that I learned from Bob was that he'd say, Susan, what other people think of you is none of your business. And that still rings true in my head today. Whenever I find myself in a difficult position, I always think back to Bob. Susan, what other people think of you is none of your business. And that just kind of helps me get through the day. So you stop worrying about what other people think, and you just do what's in your heart, do what you want to do.
Nice.
Yeah.
So how have you differentiated yourself from other coaches?
I think I have, I've got 15 years experience now as an entrepreneur, almost
that
16 years, yes. And becoming very successful very fast. I have an amazing track record. I've always been a goal setter. I've accomplished huge goals, and one after another after another. So I think one of the things that sets me apart is I walk my talk. I just didn't decide to become a coach. I mentored other women along the way, even when I was in direct sales. And it's funny because if I look back, Michelle, even before I got into direct sales, I had a great corporate job. I worked for the federal government for 18 years. And even in that job, I was mentoring women. I would always see something in someone that I could see potential in them. And I would mentor them and push them and challenge them to do a little bit more and to kind of step into the power that I saw within them. So I've mentored people, for many years, not just as a coach and not just in direct sales. In direct sales, I mentored other leaders, So just the fact that I can help other people, that I've been there, accomplished big goals, created that 6-figure business within 18 months. So I have a track record. I know what I'm talking about.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
What's the best business advice you've ever received?
Best business advice I have ever received would probably be, and there's one coach that's ringing in my head. Just get out there and do it. Progress is better than perfection.
Okay.
I'm a bit of a perfectionist, and I know that is one thing that holds me back.
Really?
And oh, absolutely. And I can procrastinate because it's not perfect. But I've learned, especially in the last 4 years, building my own business, that progress is better than perfection. You'll never get it right. So just go out there and do it, and then you can make changes along the way.
Wow.
Too many people are waiting to get their website perfect. They're waiting to get their logo perfect. They're just waiting for everything to be perfect. They want their content to be perfect. You just have to go out there and do it. You just have to put yourself out there, because that's where you learn, and that's where your content will be developed. That's where you will learn who your target market is, and everything will evolve.
Exactly. I agree with you 100%.
Yeah.
What has been a low moment for you, and how did you get through it?
A low moment, the lowest moment for me in business, and this is something that I've never shared. So this is the first time I've ever shared this openly, was I got myself into major debt.
Okay.
Major debt. And it had paralyzed me probably for about a year. And it took me speaking with a coach. It was a money coach. It was a spiritual coach who really helped me acknowledge that I was trying to hide it. I was trying to keep it to myself. I had a lot of shame and a lot of guilt. And when you have that worry and that shame and that guilt around money, it holds you back from shining your light. It holds you back from being the best person that you can be. And when you're carrying that kind of shame and guilt, you're not stepping into your power, and you're not showing up powerfully. So that really held me back, and it felt like I was dragging around 2 cement blocks. But once I acknowledged it, and I was one of those avoiders. I wouldn't open the bills. I thought, if I don't open them, they may go away. So that was a downfall in my business, but I acknowledged it, and I learned my way through that. Yeah. So once I wrote everything down that I owed and put a plan in place, and consistently tracked my money. So now I can almost say I'm an expert on earning money and doing what it takes to get a person out of debt and get them making money without dragging around that worry and shame. So that was a real low point for me, and it really held me back. But I reached out and I got the help I needed, and it wasn't free. I had to invest in that help in order to get me out of that position. But that's when my life and that's when my business really turned around. So it turned into a very exciting time.
Very good.
Very freeing.
So what's your vision for your business for the next 5 years?
It's exciting, actually. I had a brand new program that I launched a couple months ago, a very high-end program. And I spoke to a lot of women. And I know that there's a definite need for something else. So I've really been working on this in the last couple of weeks. So I'm really excited about launching this new program. I'm sure you know that I have a program for women in direct sales. So that's one of my target markets, because I came from that area. Yeah. I came from direct sales.
A lot of experience.
Yes, a lot of experience there. And it doesn't matter which direct sales company you're in. The philosophies are all the same. The culture is usually always the same. Just the products are a little different, that's all. So I have a lot of fun. I have a lot of experience there. But now also a lot of experience becoming a successful entrepreneur and building a business. So now what I'm going to do is I will have 2 avenues. So I will still work with the women in direct sales, because my heart is always there. I feel that those women have a need for what I teach. But I'm very excited to launch a brand new program. And ultimately, I'm working on a very elite program that will happen on an exclusive island.
Ooh.
So yeah, that's something that's my vision, and I've spoken to a couple people about that. So that's always I wouldn't say it's in the back of my mind. I know that's where we're going, because there's women at every different. I love working with business women. There's women at every different level. There's some that are just starting a business. There's some that have been in business for a while, but they're not seeing the results that they want. And then there's those successful business women that are almost at the 6-figure and beyond. So they know it's time to kick it up a notch. So I always say, you become like the 5 people you hang around. So what I found is I need to create something for those high achievers. So I've got programs now at all 3 levels, which is really, really exciting.
Can I ask quickly who your 5 are?
Who my 5 are?
Yeah.
I don't want to announce them publicly without getting their permission.
Understandable.
Yeah. But it's a really, really important thing.
Yeah.
You become like the 5 people you hang around. And I can tell you, my people aren't local.
No?
No.
Okay. Very well.
I have to hop on a plane.
Okay.
Which I'll be doing next week.
Very good.
Yeah, so I hop on a plane next week and head to New York City to work with my coach.
Nice.
And I have to do that every 60 days.
60 days.
Yeah.
Wow, I can't wait to hear about these new programs that you're going to be bringing.
I know, it's very exciting.
Do you have an ideal customer, and what does that kind of person look like?
An ideal client to me would probably be someone very similar to myself, someone who is driven and results oriented, a go-getter, someone who is serious about their business. And when I say serious about their business, Michelle, what I mean by that is someone who's willing to set a big goal and do whatever it takes to get there and be willing to listen.
Okay.
Yeah, that's really important. Somebody that's willing to listen and accept criticism when necessary. Yeah, because that's important. It was a lesson that I had to learn.
It's kind of a hard one to learn, too.
So one of my coaches says to me, you have to give up the need to be right.
Oh, wow.
Which is really, it's kind of a profound statement because I find so many people that I talk to today. I mean, I talk to a lot of women entrepreneurs that are not successful, that are not making money. They say they have a successful business, but they're not making any money. So giving up the need to be right and turning control of your business over to someone who's been there and done that. So that's the kind of person I was. I had to just let go and be willing to listen and admit that I didn't have the answers, so.
I hope you attract a lot of clients that you're looking for.
Yeah, thanks.
Thank you so much for coming on the show today. Where can our viewers find more information about you?
They can go to my website. I have an amazing report on there that's very short and sweet, but it's the 6 keys to creating a 6-figure business, and you can find that at www.susan-brady.com.
Great. Well, thank you again.
No problem.
And we'll see you next week.